Hello and welcome to the last track guide of the season. We're here at Spa. So straight out of pit lane, we've skipped turn 1. We're going straight into Eau Rouge. And Radion. Onto the Camel Straight. Very low downforce setup here, so not a great deal of grip. Into Lecum. And no name. There's a 1x to be had on the exit there. You run it too wide. Down into Pouon. And into Campus. Missing all the apexes. And into the Stavelo. It's important to get a good exit out of this turn onto the back straight that's not straight. So you want to minimise your steering inputs to try not to scrub off any speed. Into Blanchemont. I'm sure you're enjoying these bad name pronunciations. And then into the bus stop. Right. Let's try the medium speed lap. So, braking on the 100 marker. Hard on the brakes into the source. Watch the wheels spin on the exit. Now, Eau Rouge. I'm going to keep the wheel as straight as possible as you go up over the hill to Radion. We got a 1x, but we didn't get a slowdown. So that's right on the limit of how far you're allowed to cut the curb. Braking on the beginning of the curb for the complex here. Leave it in third. Brake as soon as you see the curb in for Lecum. Leave it in second. Widen that corner out as much as you can. And then to fourth, just before the little wooden shed. Brake in under the bridge for Campus. And again braking at the start of the curb for Stavelo. You can run a little bit wide on the exit, but you have to be careful, you will pick up a 1x. Just use all the track for Blanchemont, carry as much speed through as you can, then brake on the white. There's a very hard to see white line on the track, which is a good braking point for the bus stop. Careful on the throttle on the way out of the bus stop. That's the medium speed lap. So now, as is traditional, I will shut up and try and do a fast lap. not a very solid lap there. I still need to do some more practice. But there you have the last track guide of the season. Right, so let's take a look at that lap. Yeah, that was my fastest clean lap anyway. Let's take a look. So coming into La Source, braking on the 100 marker, which is quite hard to see on the left hand side, just before it. I think all of my braking markers, I'm braking a little bit before them. So then cutting the curb. Nice and gentle with the throttle application. And using a little bit of the curb on the entry to Eau Rouge. And then it's all just about making very small steering movements as the car gets light over the top of the hill. If you make any big movements with the wheel, you'll send yourself into a spin. So then, yeah, braking on the beginning of the curb in there. Missed the apex by a couple of feet. I think I actually used second instead of third there, so whichever's more comfortable for you. Then braking, look, I might actually, yeah, so we're using the 100 meter board on the left there. Down into second. It's the apex by a couple of feet again. And make sure you get right out to this outside curb and carry quite a bit of speed into the corner and try and straighten yourself up. So this is one of the infamous Spa off-track areas. You can't really use the AstroTurf. So there's the wooden shed. So you want to brake a little bit before that, just a little, 50%, but not for very long. Just slow the car down, get down into fourth. Miss the apex again. I didn't do that very well at all. And then we're braking under the bridge. And you want to get a nice wide entry to the first part of the campus and keep the car on the apex. So probably even further over to the right than I was. Cut back left and straighten this out. Avoid that curb on the outside. It's a nasty bumpy curb and it can spin the car. And we're braking on the beginning of the red and white curb, and again down into second. I had a little bit of oversteer there. Get right out to basically as close to the grass as you dare for Blanchemont. And there's the white line I was talking about. That is quite hard to see when you're down at cockpit view. Yeah, I mean that's quite hard to see. So you may be able to use you could use the 150 board, which is probably why that's there. And don't hit the red curbs or whatever you do. And very careful with the throttle on the way out. And the timing lines are actually there. Good bit of pausing there. So that's your track guide. Have fun this week.